So, frogs, how you feeling? Stupid?
We're not frogs. We're toads.
The Battletoads.
2020 has brought back two franchises from the 90s in Battletoads and Streets of Rage. Now granted, Battletoads does not have anywhere close to the admiration that Streets of Rage series has for some gamers out there. However, both of these games were games that I personally was very excited about this year. They're both beat 'em up, so today I thought I'd put them head to head and see who is the winner in the battle of Battletoads versus Streets of Rage 4, so make sure you keep it locked.
Round 1.
Both of these games are more cinematic than the games that were around in the 90s, although to be fair, Streets of Rage was one of the more cinematic games of its type back in the 90s. The story of Streets of Rage 4 is cool in that it does follow on from the events of the third game. 10 years have passed since Axel and the gang put a stop to Mr. X. Now though, his kids have all grown up, and now the White Twins do want to take over the city and run it themselves. They plan to do this with force and with brainwashing, and it is something out of an 80s action movie, but I do feel that it's really done well. Battletoads has a very different kind of story. The Battletoads have been in a simulator for years, the Dark Queen has lost her powers, and now they have to get a regular job. They want to be heroes again, so they join forces with the Evil Queen, blast off into outer space to try and find adventure. The story is a lot of fun, and the writing and voice acting are both fantastic. It is very self-aware of its history, and I feel that that is amazing.
Insane. There must be 50 bodies up here. Look at this one.
While both games have stories that are very fitting to their franchise's history, I personally like the way how Battletoads pokes fun at its history and how fleshed out all of it is. The writing and the voice acting both bring all of the characters to life, and that's why I had to give this first initial round to Battletoads.
Now, we'll need to repair the ship. Who's up for 3 hours of exploration and 2 hours of crafting?
Round 2.
Streets of Rage 4 kinda plays a little bit like Streets of Rage 2, and that's actually something that I really do like. At first glance, some gamers may write this game off as a button basher, but there are far more depth to the gameplay than a lot of people do actually give this game credit for. Each character do have their own strengths and weaknesses, and you can unlock new characters as you play the game. To some extent, I do feel like the game does lie on the short side of things, but it's very satisfying while it does last. You can also play with friends locally or online, and whilst this game may not be changing a ton of things, but this is the gameplay we all know, loved and wanted back. Battletoads on the other hand really does try to mix things up. You have many beat 'em up levels, however Battletoads also has many other style of gameplay as well. There are racing, puzzle, platforming and mini games as well, and granted some of these are better than others, but the fact that they tried to mix it up definitely deserves a great deal of credit. You cannot play online multiplayer though, and to me that's definitely a massive oversight in this game. To me, this round was very difficult to judge and very close, as I love how Battletoads had such a wide variety of gameplay. However, Streets of Rage 4 is far more consistent throughout the whole experience. There is none of the frustrations that you may get on certain levels that you will face in Battletoads, because believe me, I've had to nearly pull my hair out on some of those Battletoads levels, and that's why I had to give this round to Streets of Rage 4.
Round 3.
In Streets of Rage 4, Sega have gone for a cel-shaded kind of style. What is cool about this is that they've managed to capture the look and feel of the classic game, but in a modern way. You have gritty streets to fight on and some cool looking interior levels as well. I also like the fact that they've made the characters we all know and love, such as Axel and Blaze, very recognizable but also aged. It is really cool and very well done. The game has definitely got some gorgeous cutscenes too, and that definitely helps to bring the story to life. Battletoads has a very similar cel-shaded cartoon style to Streets of Rage 4. Each character looks amazing and the animations are hilarious, from large feet to riding on a drill to other over-the-top stuff. There is a nice variety to the level design here and a lot of imagination used throughout. What really sets it apart is definitely the cutscenes. These are truly incredible and are a major highlight of the game in my opinion. They're also very high quality and they look like they could have been from a Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network TV series.
Did the Zune explode?
I told you not to kill its competition.
I thought it was the optimal medium.
Whilst both games look great, Battletoads really is one of the best looking 2D games that I've played in a very long time, and that's why I had to give this round to Battletoads. Even though Streets of Rage definitely looks amazing, I do love the visual style, but I just had to pick this round to Battletoads because I do think overall they've done a great job in the visual department.
And I told him I don't care about games from the 90s. Some things are just...
Round 4.
It's hard for any gamer to deny the fact that Streets of Rage 2 has one of the best sounding soundtracks during the 16-bit era amongst most of the games. As a result, the soundtrack in Streets of Rage 4 definitely had a lot to live up to. I will say though, the music in the game is very fitting and certainly does have that Streets of Rage quality to it. None of the tracks are all that memorable in all honesty, but as you are playing the game, they fit the action very well.
Remember fellas, these turbo bikes are rentals. You know, and
Battletoads, in my opinion, doesn't really have any major music that's going to stick with you after you've played the game, but they are very, very fitting. From the use of the classic Battletoads music to the more chilled on the platforming levels, the music overall in this game is definitely well executed. Whilst both games do have a decent soundtrack, from a personal preference point of view, I feel Streets of Rage 4's soundtrack would probably be a little bit more memorable for me, and that's why I had to give this round to Streets of Rage 4.
Round 5.
Streets of Rage 4 gives you many reasons to play through it again and again and again. You can unlock new characters, there is a progression system, and the game is very fun to play with friends. Like I've beaten Streets of Rage 2 many times before, I can see this being a game that I will be going back and playing multiple times over and over again just to see how better I can do each time. Battletoads only has local co-op, meaning that it's going to be very difficult for me to play this game with my friends, and while you do have collectibles in the levels and other difficulty levels to play on, I just feel that there's not really the same kind of thing pulling you back that there is in Streets of Rage 4, and that's the reason why I do have to give this round to Streets of Rage 4, as you can play it again and again and again due to all of the unlockable stuff that are available. All in all, I have to say that I love both these games, and they both will definitely be featured in my top 10 list of games that I've played in 2020. I feel that Battletoads overachieved, as let's face it, there's quite a few gamers out there who probably may have not deemed their original games as classics. Streets of Rage 4, on the other hand, may not have changed as much as Battletoads did in its core gameplay, but I don't feel like it needed to. It was a game that had very high expectations, and for the most part, in my honest opinion, I felt like this game definitely lived up to them. While I'm personally picking Streets of Rage 4 as my winner in this particular video, I must say that these two games are pretty much neck and neck for me, and the frustrating parts of Battletoads I feel is what allowed Streets of Rage 4 to kind of take the win, but only just. Anyway peeps, what do you think of this face-off video? Do you feel like Streets of Rage 4 is the worthy winner? Have you had the opportunity to play either of these games before, and what's your thought between all of the rounds, and what's your breakdown? As always, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so before, and until next video, we definitely say peace out peeps.
Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for more cool urban gameplay videos.